Child of God, do you understand why God tells us not to trust in our own understanding? And I know so many of us sometimes are like, but God, why did you give me this mind? Why did you give me this brain if you do not want me to use it? And that is the reason why God's blessings takes time, because a lot of time you are trying to wrestle with God. You are trying to wrestle with His truths. And in the process of wrestling with God and His truths and His principles, that's how our promises end up taking so much long. Because before God gives you your promise, and then at the same time He is noticing that you have a problem with your personality, or you are not even acknowledging His presence enough, I tell you, God will step back. First, construct you. He will construct you. And I tell you, when it comes to God's discipline and making you to be that version that would match His promises, it's not easy. But what do we prefer? We prefer the cat and mouse kind of a game. Not knowing that we are prolonging our blessings. We are prolonging those promises, you know. And God is so good. He's so fair. And He all asks us to trust Him. Not to trust in our own understanding, to trust Him. And the reason, child of God, you are getting frustrated over waiting on God, please, can you just today sit down? Review yourself. Have a very honest review. This is you and you yourself. There is no one else there. It's not a boss kind of review where you know that can have some hiccups here and there, you know, that kind of unfair review that sometimes comes from appraisals. If you have been in the corporate world, you understand that this is a very fair and honest review about yourself, and try and be very honest with yourself. How have you been walking with God? Have you been leading the way, or has He been leading the way? And if it's you who has been leading the way, then you have the answer. That is why. That is the reason. But if today you choose to just humble yourself and do things as God wants you to do, you will be amazed. You will be amazed. And I'm sure you'll come back and tell me, Rose, you told me. I don't talk about these things just for the sake of talking about them. These are things that I have gone through. These are things that I have made mistakes, and God has corrected me. Of course, the correction wasn't any pleasant, but well, if you have to walk with God, you have to accept it. You just have to accept it. And you have to stop wrestling with God. Stop it, child of God. You're wasting your energy. You are wasting your time. It's time you move forward. It's time you move forward, child of God. You have done enough of running around headless, not knowing where you're going. And all God is asking you is to trust Him, and follow His ways. Accept His principles. Follow them. And you will be amazed. I tell you, you'll be amazed. So I just thought of encouraging someone out there today before I step out. And I just hope you have a nice and beautiful weekend ahead. And until next time, I love you all and stay peaceful.